This next video contains descriptions revolving around Suicide Lifeline, provides compassionate support for anybody in crisis. You can call them anytime, 24/7 on 13 11 14. That's Lifeline on 13 11 14. In his new book, which is an extraordinary read, Majak talks in depth about his struggles with mental health. And on this podcast, he went into detail about a really difficult time in his life, which took tremendous courage. But more importantly, Majak's advice, it's invaluable.
Whatever you want to talk about, I'm more than happy to listen to, Maj. But the only way to start the conversation is, what does mental health mean to you, mate?
Mental health. I think it was something I guess I was aware of, but didn't really have a fair bit of knowledge on. And we get taught as footballers, the PA, they do a great job in terms of educating players, but I think, being in a male-dominant sport, it was something I thought, that it would never happen to me, and that thought is quite an arrogant thought, and there's a dangerous way of thinking, because no one's immune to mental health, and I just chose. I just thought, you'd be right, eventually it will disappear and things will move on, but it didn't, and the drinking got worse. I was drinking a fair bit. It was brewing for something bigger, but I just chose to ignore it and just didn't give it the time that it needed, and caught up with me. And the first time that I tried to kill myself was as alcohol involved too. The first incident, and I think that should have been the biggest and final warning that I need to do something about it properly and take ownership. And I didn't, because my ego was getting the better of me, and I just chose to ignore it. This time around, I was depleted. Was sick all that week. Just had no energy, and I got on the piss that night. It was a Sunday night, from memory. I tried to cut my wrist with a Stanley knife, and that didn't work. And then tried to hang myself, and then that didn't work either. So then by this time, I grabbed my car keys and hopped in the car and decided, that's it. I'm gonna end my life.
So after what you went through, Maj, if you could grab yourself a month, 2 months, 3 months before you tried to end your own life, what would you say to yourself that you've learned since, that thank Christ you're still here to tell us about it?
I think the biggest thing is we're caught up in our own little bubble sometimes, and things are never as bad as they are, and they're never as good as what they seem, and that it's okay to tell people that, look, I'm struggling. I'm not coping with things. Finding it hard to operate throughout the day, and that I need help. And you don't have to tell. I didn't have to tell the whole world. Could have just. I told enough people, but also just admitting that there is something that needs fixing. And I think the only way I've been able to get out of my dark days is sitting down with the professionals and just unpacking everything, understanding myself, and because to be quite honest with you, that's the way I treated myself, and wasn't kind to myself, and I think that's a scary person when I look back at that bloke, and that person's not around anymore, because I I'm grateful for a lot of things in my life. My little bloke, I love him so much, and you know, he's my reason, you know, for being around, and I want to make sure that he grows up, his dad's around, teach him all the great things my dad has taught me, but also at the same time, just being able to help blokes, because I know a lot of blokes don't have been in my position far too often, and it's not an easy conversation to have with people, but I think by me taking up this initiative and writing this book and talking about my struggles, someone who's played footy, came from a different country, didn't learn a word of English, anything's possible. And I think, I think the perspective around mental health needs to change, and it can only change by people like me owning their mistakes, their experiences, and sharing with other people.
Hey guys, Howie here. Thank you so much for watching the Howie Games YouTube channel. We appreciate your support. Now, if you want to hear the full podcast, you can just click on the link directly below. If you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, which would be fantastic, bang, click right there. And if you want to see more clips, highlights and updates from the Howie Games, just go that way. Thanks so much. As always, take it easy and peace and love.